They could be lonely and talking about the football or mahjong, like why are they specifically football, like as in like the world's game, Lucas, the thing that every country looks
regardless there was no football of American or world type in this movie.
I'm just saying they could have been talking, they could have gone
about NASCAR.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Popcorn Revolver, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. My name is Ben, and I'm one of your hosts.
Hi, I'm Mitch, and I'm your host with the most this week.
And hello, I'm Lucas. I am also one of your hosts.
Yeah. So every month, each of us picks a movie based on a theme, then we get on fucking Discord and talk about it. This month's theme is Bittersweet movies. We're halfway through it. And today we're discussing Mitch's pick, the 2000 Wong Kar Wai film, I should say, In the Mood for Love. Mitch, do you want to give us the rundown?
Sure, I'd love to, Ben. Thank you. In the Mood for Love was released in 2000 and was directed by Wong Kar Wai. In many ways, the film is a thesis statement for Kar Wai's career. After a decade of trying to capture love in its many incarnations and modalities, his opus is bittersweet. In the Mood for Love isn't about a grand romance or a fiery passion, but instead love unrealized. Set in 1960s Hong Kong, the film follows Mr. Chow and Mrs. Chan, next-door neighbors in a cramped apartment building. They exchange pleasantries as they pass each other in hallways, staircases, and alleyways. They soon learn that they have more in common than they think. Both of them have absentee spouses that are having an affair. This leads them to forming an unlikely bond. They make pretend, they perform for each other, donning the role of lovers. But maybe they really could be lovers. Maybe they are really lovers. Perhaps.
Jesus.
Are you guys in the mood for love?
I'm in the mood for talking about this movie.
Yeah.
Mitch has been dying. For our listeners at home, Mitch has been dying to talk about this movie. And Lucas and I have been drawing that out for so long tonight, talking about our personal shit.
Which is fine.
And last week I had to cancel because I got a new puppy, and Mitch almost sent an assassin to finish me off.
Let's do our marquees.
What are they?
For those unfamiliar,
My fucking God. Oh my God. Okay. All right. But we have a fucking segment before we hop into the movie where we come up with marquees and share them with each other for the movie we watched. You know, the thing you'd put on the poster of the movie to draw people in.
Well,
I tried to make like an actual marquee for this movie. Mm-hmm. And I sat down and thought about it for a while and tried to come up with something that I could actually put on the poster. So I'll go first. Mine is In the Mood for Love. Two lovers too good to fall in love.
Ooh, that sells me. I'm in the seats. I'm ready to go see that right now.
Watch out, Warner Brothers.
Mine is In the Mood for Love. God damn, I need a cigarette.
This movie does. Lots of movies make smoking look cool. This movie makes smoking look cool.
Yeah. Mine is Hello, citizen. Are you a cuck? Well, I have the movie for you.
What?
Lucas,
what? Because they're when they find out, or when they both are like, oh, you know about the fact that our spouses are cheating on us with each other, like, all right, you want to like play, pretend, act it out? Then how did it begin? Let's act it out. And I was like, this is the cuck chair movie.
Wow.
All right, well, let's get into it, Mitch.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of break down the film in different parts, but I thought I'd start off with some of this, basically the stylistic thing. So much of the film is about mood rather than plot. What are some stylistic elements of the film that establish the vibe, so to speak?
Those fucking dresses. Oh my God. They're just so fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Every single dress is colorful and beautiful. Yeah. There's like one scene that's very, I think it's like very important. I think it's the scene where she's trying to, or acting out like how she would confront her husband if he ever fessed up to the infidelity. And all I could think about was the dress that she had. It was like a white dress with these flowers covering the seam or like where the buttons are. And it's just beautiful. It really puts you in Hong Kong at the time.
One big stylistic thing that jumped out to me is the deliberate meddling with like the temporal aspect of the movie. There's a lot of scenes that feel like you've seen them before or that you've been here before and you don't really know what part of the relationship it's happening in. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a really fast-paced movie. They cut between, from scene to scene, they cut between long periods of time. They very much get to the good parts. And and because there's like several locations that these characters are always in, I found myself asking a lot, like, wait, didn't I see this before? Hasn't this happened before? Didn't they say these things before? Those weren't like questions of confusion. They were questions of like, we're not in Kansas anymore. These people are kind of sweeping themselves up into their own little world. There's also no music except for some really key songs chosen at current point, like specific points. Much of it is without music, but like you have that same musical sting with I think it's violins.
Yeah, the like
happens when
plucking.
there's slow-mo.
I love that violin score. I don't know. I'm not a musical person. I think there's like some violin plucking happening in there, but it's that sound is very nice.
It's very moody. It sets the mood.
Yeah.
The
I
mood
also
for
think-
love.
The way it's shot too, like you could just scroll to any time and like there is great composition in the shots. There's always all these beautiful like angles. And I think they set the mood for all these emotional points. It also sets the mood during all these very moody scenes of like Mr. Chow like thinking things through and then like the camera's under cranking.
I don't think that was under cranking. I'm not sure actually. It could be. I know that's a specific Wong Kar Wai technique he uses in a lot of his movies. I think it's called step printing. I just read it in the.
No,
it's
it is step printing. I remember in one of the featurettes them talking about it. Now that you say that,
I don't know how you do that. I don't know. I didn't pay attention in that class.
But yeah, the step printing makes it like it slows it down. It's like, you know, it helps you get into the mood of how they're feeling.
the other stylistic thing is there's a lot of shooting through things, like through windows and like down alleyways. And I think that creates a sort of voyeuristic element to the film. And it's in the film's thematic elements as well. There's this idea of being watched or not wanting to be seen in these risque, from an outside viewer as a risque moment.
Yeah.
That's two things I noticed in relation to that. One, there's a lot of scenes where the Mrs. Chan is shot through bars on a window, which is like a really obvious, deliberate, she's trapped, sort of like she's imprisoned by her feelings or imprisoned by her responsibility to another person that she doesn't even love. It's very tragic. And then also, something I thought was cool, the characters live with other families, which I'm assuming is like a Hong Kong cultural thing.
Because it's so cramped, it's so heavily populated.
Yeah, they rent out a room in the building, but they still eat together. They still cook for each other, and still take steps to like involve themselves in each other's lives to a certain degree. And that's really interesting narratively because it provides you all these fucking characters who are sniffing and snooping around in your life, and you just want them to fuck off so you can fuck this hot guy.
I feel like that's why they also, or part of the reason why they had all those shots through things to like give the feeling of being in cramped Hong Kong at the time, because I think that was the time period of like the height of Hong Kong's like cramped, stacked apartments.
It's it's very claustrophobic. The setting is claustrophobic. The film doesn't really feel claustrophobic necessarily, but the setting does. It feels like you're about to rub shoulders with someone in every interaction.
Yeah, I think off the top of my head, the most spacious set I can remember is the one where they meet up at a hotel, and they have all this.
Yeah,
They're completely alone for like the first time in the movie, and coincidentally, they have a shitload of space to enjoy each other's company in. And there's a lot of mirrors, which gives you more space and also like lets you see multiple faces of the actors. Also, one of the things that influenced the mood a lot for me, the lighting and the colors.
Yep.
There's a lot of light. There's a lot of lights coming down from the ceiling, which oh my god, all those slow-mo shots where they walk past each other in the stairwell.
yeah,
And you got the light from the ceiling shining down on them, and they sort of like look at each other and then just walk past. It's like,
Also, all the red, I loved all the color. It was
Like the hallway in the hotel, there's these billowy red curtains. Yeah, actually, the hotel set is gorgeous in
it's
general.
all red and gold.
because I think the hotel represents like the life they can't have, or like it is the fantasy. It is the spacious independence alone. Like it's just that beautiful.
I think the hotel represents the little heart that you put in a Build-A-Bear at a Build-A-Bear workshop.
That's kind of a cute metaphor, Ben. I really like that, actually. So now we've established the mood. I think I'm going to kind of clip into the sort of plot here. The early part of the film is about the domestic and work situations of each of the main characters. Mrs. Chan's boss has her manage his affairs literally. She keeps track of who he has plans with, his wife or his mistress, and buys gifts for them on his behalf. Meanwhile, her husband is often gone on work trips and comes home late. Mr. Chow works for a local newspaper, and his wife is similarly not home often. It is clear that they are lonely. How is loneliness depicted in the film?
Well, I love like some of the contrast that they show to depict the loneliness, like because this is kind of like a shared kitchen sort of situation, and the owners are always playing mahjong and like having a grand old time. Kind of reminds me of us in college. We would be the mahjong boys.
You never played mahjong? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but we played board games. We were up until the middle of the night playing games.
And then our more like studious friends were like coming home from like a hard day, and they're like, I'm just going to bed, and we're up being like little goblins in the night.
But like there's a lot of scenes where they're like either cooking or the owners are playing mahjong, and then like Miss Chan is kind of on the outskirts, on the sidelines, kind of watching it happen, and that contrast depicts the loneliness, or like made it stand out to me. That and like Miss Chan is always looking for something to do. She is going to get them good noodles, and She does it like every night. And it's like, but the way that she's doing it is like, it's giving you a sense of wanting to fill up space and time, not that the noodles are that good.
She's also interrogated by it every time she does it. She steps
Yeah.
out, and the lady she lives with is like, hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Tell me where you're going. Tell me where you're going. I'm going to get noodles. Oh, come and eat with them. I'm just going to go get some noodles.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting because oftentimes the neighbors are trying to invite them in for things, and maybe they just subconsciously, without their partner or whatever it is, they want to they are lonely, but they don't know how to seek out companionship.
I think also with like the neighbors, like just hanging out with them so often leads to more questions of where are they? Why aren't they here? But also the whole like asking where you're going and inviting them to dinner. I feel like that's very much like, even in the US of the times for the 60s, like a lot more communal, a lot more in the know of your neighbors versus nowadays.
Well, they're also
Yeah.
all older too, so there's sort of something parental in it as well. It feels sort of parental.
Yeah.
I think one thing that jumped out at me, which relates to this, is the dialogue. A lot of times the characters talk, they talk in sort of euphemisms. It's not really the right word, but they talk around how they're really feeling. The characters rarely say exactly how they're really feeling. They can't be just honest with each other. I mean, there's that scene early on where Mr. Chow's talking to Pin. Is his name Pin?
Yeah, his coworker.
His friend and coworker. And he says, yeah, I left my hat over at Mrs. Chan's place deliberately because she's hot. She's really hot. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to hit on her. And Mr. Chow, who is clearly already infatuated with her, says, you know she's married, right? That's like not a good thing to be doing. Like the characters have all these opportunities to just be honest about the way they're feeling. Even when Mrs. Chan and Mr. Chow talk to each other, they talk about like, oh, that's the handbag. I have that same handbag, or I have that same tie. I don't think they ever explicitly say that their partners are being unfaithful to them. But
Yeah, it's always roundabout. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They never, like, they're so much of the dialogue is like circling the problem. Because if you address it, then,
Becomes real.
I don't know. Yeah.
What are the things that stuck out to you that we didn't mention?
I think there's a little bit that the sort of absence of their spouses. You get these phone calls where Mr. Chow is, or he'll stop by his wife's work and it's like, oh, she already left. Didn't she tell you? Or Mrs. Chan is just kind of having a normal evening, about to go get noodles, and then her neighbor / landlord or whatever is like, oh, your husband still isn't home. You shouldn't be alone so much. It's not good for a couple. There's sort of these reinforcing characters that kind of tell them they're alone and that they shouldn't be alone, and a feeling there's something wrong.
Their spouses are never shown on screen either.
Yeah.
Which really helps add to it. At first, I was on the lookout for Miss Chow, because for me, Chow and Chan, I was like, that too close. Like, I need to make sure I like get a good look of people and like attach name to face. And when I think it was like one of the phone calls that she was making to Mr. Chow, being like, I'm not going to come home. I'm going to be late again tonight. And like the window frame is covering her face, but you can like see her hand. I was like, oh, okay, we're not meant to know.
There's also one thing I noticed until the Mrs. Chan and Mr. Chow really start going out and talking to each other a lot. Those characters are almost entirely shot by themselves. Like even in scenes where they're talking to other people, those people are framed out or they're cut to. But there's a huge amount of shots that's just them, even in dialogue scenes. And that was really potent for me.
The isolate, kind of relating to the isolation and loneliness
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah, for sure.
I think it also sets it up pretty well at the very beginning of the movie where they both move in on the same day and their spouses are not there. And they're like, all their stuff is getting mixed up. And it's like, where's your spouse? Like, you're moving. This is a big deal. Like, what?
So it's revealed early on that Mr. Chow and Mrs. Chan's spouses are having an affair together. This leads to our protagonist's unlikely friendship. They begin going on dates where they pretend to be each other's spouses, recreating the affair in a sense. What do you guys think was their motivation for this?
I feel like that's pretty straightforward. They're lonely and they are attracted to each other.
No, but specifically the play. Like, why are they they could be lonely and talking about the football or mahjong. Like, why are they specifically? Yeah,
Well,
football. Like, as
it's
in, like,
sorta like
the world's game, Lucas. The thing that every country looks.
Regardless, there was no football of American or world type in this movie.
I'm just saying they could have been talking. They could have
about
gone
NASCAR.
They could have. They could have spent time with them in any way. But why are they doing this?
It's a degree of separation. They don't want to cheat, so they're playing this little game.
Yeah. I think there definitely is a degree of separation. Like they both mentioned, they do not want to be like after eventually they recognize each other's affection for each other, but they don't want to become their partners. And so I think this exploring how their partners, how it started, one, it's a way to let them go on dates and not, be so hard on themselves that they're being the same thing as their partners, their cheating partners. But two, I do think both of these people are deeply sad about their spouses betraying trust and their relationship in such a way. So they do want to know how it happens. And to them, it's so foreign because they seem like good people. They don't want to do that.
So I have a few theories about it. One, I think there's a sort of trauma bonding element of it, of this sort of like breaking down what's happened and sharing that pain is part of it. But I also think the play is part of their characters because they don't know right now in their darkest moment what it feels like to be wanted. And so they go about this performance for each other of kind of this reenactment to feel wanted, to feel desired. And I think it speaks to their loneliness, but also that they did feel loved at one point and they want to feel wanted again. And that's how I interpret the necessity of the play.
I see that on paper, but the number one criticism I have with this movie is I didn't get any strong feelings of desire between the main characters.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I understand they have to keep it under wraps for so many reasons. Like they can't just overtly share their emotions with each other. But I never got the feeling that the only time I got the feeling that they wanted to like actually jump each other and be in each other's lives like that romantically was when at the end when Mrs. Chan goes to his apartment in Singapore, calls him, and then just like leans up against the wall.
That's one. Wow. See, for me, this movie, in my opinion, displays yearning much better than something like Pride and Prejudice, where you have that one like hand hold almost, and then he cringily like grips his hand, very anime, like I almost had her. But in this one, like they have fun banter. They're back and forth talking. They're laughing a lot. There's a lot of like longing stares at each other. But even like before they get to know each other and are having a good time, when they just pass by each other and the shot slows down and it's like these sensual silhouettes are just like passing each other in the night and they're almost touching, like it gave such a symbolism of yearning. Like, I don't know. To me, this was like yearning on top. If that makes sense.
Yearn maxing.
I memed about the stairwell scene before, but like I didn't feel any like strong desires there, you know.
Every time they passed each other in the like noodle place, like they would turn around to like look to see if the other person was like looking or to see where they went, or like, you know, there was no desire of Mr. Chow to go to that noodle place on his own. He was going there for her, like. But that's interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just like, that's very surprising to me.
At a certain point, it becomes hard to tell what is the role play and what is real. Is there any moment that jumped out as, oh, they're not acting anymore?
Oh, I didn't think they were ever acting.
Same, yeah. I thought it was just an excuse to do some extracurriculars outside of their relationships and not beat themselves up about it. It seems like for you, it felt like that they were role playing for a bit until they weren't. How was that for you? Because we obviously experienced it in a different way.
How was it for you?
I'm trying.
No, it's a good question, Lucas.
Because, I think our perceptions of the film are different. So, I think at least how I perceive the role play is it's kind of this tenuous stepping out, this vulnerability, sharing it with each other, wanting to feel wanted, even if it's all an act, right? I think what really changes it is Mr. Chow at a certain point kind of decides that he is planning to leave his wife. Well, their spouses are off in Japan. And so he gets the hotel 2046, and they decide to go there to like write his periodical for his newspaper, like a kung fu episodic thing together as this kind of fun escape where they don't have to be watched and seen. And I think that the way they spend time there, it stops being play and it becomes a real thing, especially for Mr. Chow, because she's invested in what he's doing. And that's kind of where I see the relationship change.
Yeah, I feel like the whole periodical thing is very important to that. Like, because that's somebody showing interest in your interest, and she was like encouraging him to explore that. I'm like, yeah, that's not your job now, but like, why don't you write it? Like, if it's something that you're interested in, like, go for it. Like even the scene before that when they're in his place and the landlords or whatever are all playing mahjong for like 24 hours straight. And he's working on the periodical. Like it's cute. Like she's his muse, and not in like a scummy objectifying way, but just in like a true source of inspiration of somebody that like brings him awe.
So, the pair often discuss gossip and what others may think that others may think that they're up to no good. Mr. Chow says that they aren't doing anything to be ashamed of. What does the role of judgment and keeping up appearances play in the film?
It's another limiting factor for their love. It's
I think
another
it's the key
barrier. Yeah. It's that and their obligations to their spouses.
Yeah, but their spouses fucked that up the moment they cheated. I feel like if society was okay with like divorce and they didn't have anybody to like watch them and gossip about them, that they would have been like, hey, this is not okay, and I do not want to be with my partner, and I like this other person.
I think the conflict that arises from like the peeping toms, the voyeurs who are up in their business, is really compelling. I can't remember exactly how the conversation goes, but the old woman who Mrs. Chan lives with brings her aside at one point, and she's like, "Yo, you can have fun in your youth, but you got to come back to Jesus at some point." And it's like, "Shut the fuck up, you old bag."
You don't even know what's happening. You don't know my life.
Yeah, I think the whole time they're very aware of how things could seem.
Yeah.
They're in a taxi, and she's like, "All right, I'll get out first," and then he's like trying to be chivalrous, and he's like, "No, I'll get out first." Like, they don't want to be seen together. Or when Miss Chow shows up at the hotel, she like sprints up the stairs as to not be seen there. Yeah, and after that talking to that you were talking about, Ben, they have this little debrief where she's like, "We can't keep seeing each other as often." The landlady knows I'm up to something, and that's when Mr. Chow says, "But we're not doing anything wrong. Like, why should we be ashamed?"
Yeah.
He's right. It's
Which is
weird,
crazy
too,
because,
'cause
like,
they're exposed to all this bullshit. Their spouses are cheating. Mrs. Chan's boss is cheating. Pin is a pig who's comfortable flirting with a married woman. Like, their virtuousness is completely unrewarded. Maybe it helps them sleep at night. I don't know, but it's like at a certain point, virtuousness is a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
your principles need to be flexible.
Like, in my morality, even if they were banging in the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, they were within the right. Their partners, like, destroyed their relationship, and, like, they can do what they want, and, like, break up with them, like, their spouses eventually, to, like, move on for their lives.
Yeah.
I was
That's
curious,
interesting.
though, when... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, because that answered one of my following questions, which was Mr. Chow admits near the end of the film that he's in love with Mrs. Chan. He says that he thought they'd never be like their spouses, but they ended up being exactly like them. And I was going to ask, do you think this is true?
I think yes and no. Like, no, they're within the right. They didn't start off in a good, healthy relationship and then start cheating. Their partners were cheating and violated the social contract, and so that, like, invalidates, the relationship, whatever. I think yes, it is true in the sense that, like, I think the moral thing is, like, when you find out, when you're first figuring it out, yeah, whatever. Like, y'all can hook up and have a good time, and that's you're not like them. That's just you coming to terms with what happened. But then to not be like them is, don't keep it a secret, don't stay in the relationship and just pretend like everything's normal. Instead, end the relationship, move on. Like, that's how you become not like them.
I don't know why they didn't just do that.
Well, so they don't really get the opportunity because, like, the majority of the film takes place while their spouses are in Japan for, like, an extended period of time. So they're kind of amping themselves up for the confrontation. I mean, they even use the role playing for Mrs. Chan to practice what she's going to say to him, right?
Yeah. But then they don't do it.
Well, we just don't see. We don't see it.
Yeah, the landlord or the landlord is like, "Hey, I know you're being young and you're going out late. You got to be good." And so she wants to end it, and they end things before anything can, like, happen, before the spouses even get back.
Yeah, but I mean, once the spouses get back, the characters could have either separated from their spouses and been together and happy, which would have been understandable because we have all the context we need to understand that, or they could have separated they could have stayed with their spouses, which is what they did. And since we don't see how that goes, we just kind of, I don't know, assume that maybe the relationship was good enough and fixed. Like, we just have to make assumptions about it.
It's also like the 60s, and divorce isn't like, and separation isn't the same as it is nowadays in terms of like social acceptance around that. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
think
Mr.
that
Chow
also
was totally down to leave his wife.
He had the
Well, he has a bank
flexibility
account.
to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Mrs. Chan would have financial security in Mr. Chow, but she's the one who pumped the brakes.
Yeah, I think Lucas's questions are valid, and I think, Ben, your criticisms are reasonable. I guess that does lead to like the question of Mr. Chow, before going to Singapore, does ask Miss Chan to come to Singapore with him. He leaves for Singapore and she goes to the hotel having missed him. Like, she didn't arrive in time to go with him to Singapore. But then they have a couple of near misses later, once in Singapore and once back at the hotel, or back at the apartments a few years later. So they just can't quite choose to be with each other. And Ben, it seems like you have thoughts on why that is, and Lucas, you might have thoughts on why that is.
She had the choice. She I guess broke into his apartment in Singapore, because she flies out there later and goes into his apartment and provides my favorite scene in the movie, where she calls him at work on the phone and doesn't say anything. She just leans up against the wall and cries, and it's brutal and heart-wrenching. But in retrospect, it's like, she had the choice. She could have said something. She just chose not to. And it's like, there's a million reasons for why that could be. And that the fact that they leave that ambiguous is really, I think that's really cool. Because it makes you think. It's like, well, was it an in the moment thing where the emotions were just way too fucking strong for her? And she's like, what am I doing? Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Or was that her playing all? Did she just want to hear his voice one more time? Because they mentioned that before. He calls her at work earlier on in the movie and says, I just want to hear your voice.
But so, yeah, I think the societal thing of like divorce, of being with, another person, that is a huge no-no. But I think what this movie hits on is kind of like temporalness of things, that things have their moments in time. And like, what if them, they could talk to each other years later, but like, what if it's not the same? What if it's not there? What if they're not in the mood for love anymore? I've heard this movie also, like, it's definitely, a love story, but like, I've heard it also been used as a way to talk about Hong Kong at the time, in this very unique era before the communist revolution, and how like that moment of Hong Kong, never has existed since. Everything is so temporary. And like, they hit on that at the end, where the landlord is like, oh yeah, like somebody else moved in to that apartment. I don't really know who. Neighbors don't talk to each other anymore. It's not like how it was back then.
Mm-hmm. That is super cool. Definitely something I picked up on that you just articulated. I really like that quality of the film.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think about with her decision to initially not meet him to go to Hong Kong, changes her mind, or go to Singapore, changes her mind again, flies to Singapore, can't quite do it. And then him not knocking on her door when he comes back to Hong Kong years later. Yeah, there is that moment. I think it kind of is summarized in the end of the film. We'll get to the scene specifically, but it ends with a text line that just says, that era has passed. Nothing that belongs to it exists anymore.
Yeah.
the feeling, the passion is still there, but the reality that they're different people now and they're different lives, and it's kind of in a way they always were. They had this moment together where they relied on each other and fell in love with each other as people, but it was just a moment.
We'll always have Paris, kid.
In Singapore, Mr. Chow tells his friend Mr. Ping that in ancient times, when a person had a secret, they would climb a mountain and whisper their secret into a hole in the tree. Then they would fill that hole with mud. The film closes with Mr. Chow visiting Angkor Wat in Cambodia. He finds a hole in one of the temple walls and does just this. How did that ending play for y'all?
I thought it was like warranted. You know, the film leaves you with a like emotionally drained sensation. Like, fuck, man, fuck. That's how it made me feel at the end. Yeah, somber.
Yeah, I liked it. I think like for this sort of bittersweet story of this love that can't be, it like makes sense. Like it is like proof that that memory, that time in his life left an impact, so much so that he has to do something with it. I'm curious if I'm just missing something, but like where Angkor Wat specifically comes into play. Is it like something about the site? Is it something about the time and like history that I'm not making the connection with? Or is it just like a great place to have a beautiful last shot, you know?
I think it being a temple, like a pilgrimage place, is part of it. Like I think that's the journey to, like, it's his mountain is traveling all this way to tell this one deep secret and hide it away forever. I think that's part of it. There's logistical reasons why that I will get to at some point later down the road.
Wait, I'm
I like
really
that.
curious. What were the logistical reasons?
This film was an absolute nightmare to create.
Really?
It nearly broke Wong Kar Wai. It was shot over 15 months in 3 different countries. Production stopped a few times, both because of financial issues and because of Kar Wai rapped on 4 separate occasions and then went into the editing room and decided he needed to change things and brought everyone back to shoot more.
Jesus.
Christopher Doyle, the cinematographer and longtime collaborator, became increasingly frustrated with this and quit, leaving the remainder of the film to be finished by Kwan Peng Lung, a different cinematographer who had also worked with Kar Wai before. But basically, he didn't fully... The film was being created as he went, in a sense, and he had sequences shot in Angkor Wat that in the end he didn't want in the film. He was gonna... he had planned or had this idea of them reconnecting or seeing each other at Angkor Wat, like another not a missed connection, but they actually see each other and he sees her son. And that's when he goes and puts the mud on the wall after they've said goodbye. So that scene, there's like 20, I can't remember. There's about 20 deleted scenes that from the film on the bonus features, tons and tons of footage of things that didn't make the final edit. So that's why, the logistical reason.
Out of curiosity, what, like in his filmography, like where is this? Is this early on in his career or midway or?
It's on the let's say second half of his career.
In his afternoon.
Yeah, sure. Afternoon.
I heard that before its release, he was he was like finishing the final edit 4 days before it was scheduled to be released.
Damn.
At Cannes. Yeah, the audio mixing wasn't even done for the Cannes premiere. It was well, it was
Procrastinator, my guy.
the Cannes. Well,
Dog.
honestly, so an interesting thing was he said, I could make this film forever. I need to pick a hard out. And he said, the film is going to premiere at Cannes. And he said, and he made sure that it did premiere at Cannes.
I think that is a very difficult thing about creating is like when to stop, because you could always keep refining, you could always keep changing things, but then it evolves into something else. And so just knowing when to stop and move on to something else is a skill in and of itself.
Yeah, it's a really interesting film for that part of it nearly killed him, but in a way it's sort of it's really hard to say it's his best work, but it's probably the film he's best known for. It's the film that made him an international star in a lot of ways. What gave him the ability to go on and do other things like make a film in America using big Hollywood actors, things like that. But yeah, it's very different from anything else in his filmography, I would say. It's both the culmination of all his skills coming into one place, but at the same time, a huge departure and a huge risk, and which is why I think it's such a special film in a lot of ways.
No, it made me, I am not somebody who has seen any Wong Kar Wai stuff, and it made me very curious to explore his, you wouldn't say discography, right? That's more for music, right?
Filmography.
Duh.
It's funny because you said it just a few minutes ago. You used it. I'd like to wrap with a few. They're not really questions. I think there's some things that Ben points out in the film that I think maybe this would help answer. Kind of more fun facts about the film. Wong Kar Wai is not a script-driven director. He has even said in interviews that he hates writing them and finds them boring.
I heard about that. I read that.
That's
king shit, honestly.
His preferred style of filmmaking is to arrive on set with an idea and work with the actors to develop the characters and the scene on the fly.
He's a vibes guy.
Yeah, he's a vibes guy. Granted,
I'm sure that's so much fun. I'm sure that's such a great working environment.
An addendum, going off of what Ben just said, this is largely to blame for the odious production of the film. Maggie Chun, who played Mrs. Chan, said that she didn't understand what she was doing until about 9 months into production.
Oh my God. A full baby could have formed in that time. Jesus.
Because she hadn't worked with Wong Kar in a long time, whereas Tony, who played Mr. Chow, he's kind of Wong Kar Wai's muse. He's in almost every one of his movies. He was very used to the process. When he signed up, he knew exactly what he was in for. And there's some pretty funny interviews where he's like talking about trying to console Maggie and be like, just chill. It's going to be okay. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Trust the process.
Just trust the process.
He knows what he's doing. Meanwhile, Wong Kar Wai's sitting in a closet by himself. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
It's interesting that you guys both brought this up because, like, I'm somebody who did theater as a kid and then got into improv, and I love things that are improv or like things where you kind of like build it together, because like movie making, although there's like a director who has a vision or a writer who has a vision, it is a collaborative thing. And I love movies that kind of let everybody put their imprint on the movie, but I never thought about how that probably does not make the best working environment, where people are like, what the fuck is my job? Or like, when is the end? Like, I have another film to shoot after this. Am I going to be able to make that? Like, so yeah, it's got to be challenging to balance that.
Yeah. It's got to be challenging to come back. Dude, reshoots, that shit takes unbelievable amounts of money because to get a shoot, you need to schedule it, scout the location, make sure you have, and even then, all those things can go wrong, and do go wrong. And you have to a reshoot to fucking do all that on a tighter schedule for a last minute 4 times in a row.
That's kind of crazy.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But hey, it worked out.
Yeah.
Homeboy had a vision.
He didn't know what it was yet, but he had a vision. I mean, it's very admirable, and it makes his films what they are. At the same time, I feel for the actors and the crew, and I feel for Christopher Doyle, because I've also heard that Wong Kar is not a very kind director. When he doesn't not kind. He doesn't laud you on your successes, but he'll point you out when when something isn't right. And that's part of why Chris Doyle quit. He was tired of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks out there who will have you believe that treating your actors and crew like shit is just
Shelley
the mark
Duvall.
of yeah. Stanley Kubrick's a great example. David O. Russell is another really good example. These essentially pieces of shit. They're pieces of shit, right? And they they treat their actors and their crews like garbage. But people will talk about that as if it's sacred, you know? If Stanley Kubrick didn't torture Shelley Duvall on set, you never would have got The Shining. And I think that it's just another interesting component of it. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I mean, the production of this movie of In the Mood for Love had to go the way it did for you to get in the mood for love the way it is in this form.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think there is nobility in treating people like dog shit. That's not how you make a good movie. But
Nope.
I also understand that there are many ways to make a movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's an intentional. From my having watched it, I think it's less. It's not Kubrickian where he's I'm gonna torture this person to elicit this response. Maybe he's just curt, and also it probably feels more hurtful when it's he shows up to set one day and decides he's changing a whole scene or a whole storyline or this. I'm sure there's a lot of times where it feels like it's your fault, but it's his process, and that isn't the best thing in the world. But
yeah, and by all respects, from what I've read, Wong Kar Wai is a decent person offset, and a really good example of a director who gets on set and knows exactly what everyone is doing the second they get there. Would be Woody Allen. Woody Allen is really, really good at that. And Woody Allen,
terrible person.
not a good person.
Ooh.
Yeah. So take your pick, you know.
So, before we wrap up, I wanted to point one other small fun thing out and pick your brains about it. In the Mood for Love is technically the middle installment in a trilogy. It is
Really?
loosely, very, very loosely related to a prior film called Days of Being Wild and the subsequent film 2046. Now, 2046 and In the Mood for Love are very interlinked in a way, but they can be independent in that you don't have to have seen the first two or either of those. They are very much standalone films. It's really 2046 that is dependent on the first two. And there's small characters. The landlady, for instance, Mrs. Chan's landlady, is a character in Days of Being Wild as a small thing. But what is that? Do you feel is it fair of me to pick a movie that's the middle part of a trilogy, technically?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's fair.
I don't know. I don't. In this specific circumstance, it's absolutely fair because I've also heard this, and I've also heard that the trilogy is one of those that you can dive in at any point. I mean, a lot of people's first Wong Kar Wai movie, mine included, is In the Mood for Love. So I don't think that's unfair at all.
And like, there's a difference between a conceptual trilogy versus like, if no one had seen, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, and you're like, start at what is it, the Twin Towers?
The two towers.
I think that's fine too, though. I don't think there's an issue with there.
There's not an issue, but I feel like you'd be a little more lost.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's interesting because it plays into this wider concept of film analysis of comprehension, right? It's a component of all analysis, but it's just brought to the forefront with sequential movies. Whereas, like, okay, you watched The Two Towers, but you didn't see The Fellowship, so you're already coming at it from like a point of view that is missing information. But like that's a component of any film analysis.
Yeah,
you
it
have to
should
listen
still hold on its own.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, it makes me curious to watch the other two.
Yeah.
To watch the same.
I really want to watch Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels has been on my watch list for a while.
I would recommend. Can I make a recommendation?
Chungking Express.
I think you should watch Chungking Express before Fallen Angels, but that's just my personal Wong Kar Wai.
I love Hitman movies.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I just think, yeah. Anyway, we can talk about that off pod.
No, let's talk about it on pod. Why do you think I should watch Chungking Express?
So I first chose Chungking Express because I actually think it's, before I switched it to In the Mood for Love, because I think it's the best entry point into his filmography. It's lighter.
You didn't choose it because it's not bittersweet.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't choose it because when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this film isn't as bittersweet as I remember it being. And so I chose In the Mood for Love. It was my first Wong Kar Wai, so there's nothing wrong with it being your first either. It's just, I think to get a sense of his style, Chungking Express is much more emblematic of the rest of his work than In the Mood for Love is. So that's why I suggest it's the best entry point. It's short, it's fun, it's light. You get all flirty. You get all the flavors of his filmmaking without needing the full download, in a sense, for me. Whereas like some of his later work, like Fallen Angels in 2046, is a little harder to get into in some ways, and then the earlier stuff is rougher but very good too. There's no perfect watching order. It's just kind of how I would recommend people exploring his work, and I love all his films basically. So
well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Give us your top 3 Wong Kar Wai.
Ooh.
For me, my number 1 is In the Mood for Love. 2 is Chungking Express. 3 is tough. I really love Happy Together, and I really love Days of Being Wild, and they're very close for me. Between them, I think I would lean towards Days of Being Wild over Happy Together, but just barely. They share third place for me.
Cool.
So, In the Mood for Love is the Wong, and Chungking Express is the car.
Oh my god.
And Days of Being Wild is
The why.
the why. Well, that feels like a good transition into final thoughts and ratings.
Bitch, you don't let us ask questions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yes. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
Unfucking believable.
But I do have some statements.
Stand on business then. Give us your statements.
Okay, one, this is nothing to do with Wong Kar Wai, but the Quizás song,
Yes.
Gringo. Gringo. The pronunciation of the I know. It's what's his name?
Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole. I know. And I know it's great. It is what it is. But all those words, the pronunciation bugged the fuck out of me. But that's just a personal thing. Thing number 2.
Oh God.
The song Quizás and the other score that you mentioned, Ben, with the like violins and the plucking, they're really good. They're really powerful and they're used well. But towards the end, I did feel like they were being overused a bit. I was like, this song again. Okay, we're going into like some no talk, like moody scene where it slows down and we have this song yet again. It didn't take away from the film too much, but it, like towards the end, I was getting a little fatigued on it.
Interesting. I really liked that quality of the movie.
He
To me,
does that a
it
lot too in his other movies as well.
To me, it relates to that temporal thing I was talking about right at the beginning, where it's like, have we done this before? That sort of thing. When those songs pop up, it's like, oh, we're just swept. It almost feels like a memory. We're swept up in this. Yeah.
That's fair. But that was it. That was those were my things.
I appreciate that they ate with their mouths closed in the dining scene. But I had to skip some shit with her at the hotel, and Mr. Chow was chowing down on some fucking nudes.
I did have that moment where I was like, oh no, Ben, because and it's during the scene where she's practicing confronting her husband, like in the middle of that, Mr. Chow just slurps a noodle like very audibly. So
It's like, brother.
Misophonia listeners or watchers of the film, be ready.
Be warned. Be warned, Kai.
Why?
We're so smart.
People come to us because we got big brains.
It's that kind of hard-hitting analysis that people do.
So Lucas and Ben, do I have your permission to move towards final thoughts and ratings?
Yeah.
Ben, you want to go first?
So, oh yeah, sure. I really like this style of filmmaking. It, like we mentioned before, it's sort of French New Wave inspired, where it's sort of like decompositional. You take the components of a film and you sort of suck them out of their context. You have a lot of sort of, not avant-garde. It can be avant-garde. There are some avant-garde choices in this movie, but you don't get like the stock standard version of editing that preserves sight lines and preserves continuity and that kind of stuff. That is all thrown out the window for emphasis. Same with everything else, the performances, the compositions, the lighting, all that stuff. And I really, really enjoy that kind of filmmaking. I only really have some small gripes with the like emotional appeal, which I already stated. I think that the characters are kind of too cold for me to get sucked into their desire for one another. And I understand why, because they are trying not to show that, because they don't want to warn anyone, and they want to be good. They want to be good.
It's true.
But it did make it difficult for me to get like fully enraptured by it. It makes me very excited to watch Wong Kar Wai's other stuff. And I think that it's one of those movies that has the capacity to throw you in one of two very different directions. You're either going to get completely invested and have an intense emotional reaction to it, or you are going to hate it. And yeah. With that said, I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I think this is a great introduction for me to Wong Kar Wai. I am super excited to dig into his filmography. It was a lot of fun to watch. I think the timing was like spot on in terms of how long the movie was. The shots are so stylistic, good composition, beautiful colors, beautiful costuming. The characters are fun. It's sad, beautiful. Yeah, it's just a good time all around. I had my gripes with I talked about my gripes about like leaning on some of the score a little much, in my opinion. But it's a really good movie. It's really, really fun, and it makes me want to time travel to Hong Kong at the time. Like, how cool would it have been to see that? Yeah, I think for me this is an 8 out of 10.
Nice. Y'all probably already know I love this film. Wong Kar Wai is my guy. He's my favorite director. Like, pretty much full stop. It's my favorite of his films, so it's not surprising that it's a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece to me.
Is it a
Some might
triumph?
say
Some might say it's a triumph. Yeah, I think everybody should give this film a shot, like, for better, like, whatever your experience with it, because it changed film for me, and there's a chance it might change film for you. I don't, like, on this podcast journey, it's like one of the few movies that changed the way I see movies and experience movies. Yeah, so thanks, Wong Kar Wai.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Danke, bra.
Well,
Well,
it's time.
it's time.
Oh my
You know,
God,
are you
oh my
guys
God.
are you guys in the mood
Oh my
for
God.
some unhinged reviews?
Quizás.
We have a segment on our podcast where we like to go on the fucking internet and find unhinged reviews of the movie we just watched, and then we share them with each other. I didn't find a whole lot of unhinged reviews that were good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to dig. I had to work hard for mine.
Whoa. For me, I had an abundance of them. I feel like movies that are, one, somewhat older. It's 2000, it's not that old. But somewhat older. And then two, movies that are like huge in like cinephile world have so many reviews that it's easier to find some crazy shit.
Fair.
I can lead us off.
Sure.
This review is one that I thought was unhinged at first, but after posting it and reading it, I kind of agree with it. It is from Ashley N. from Rotten Tomatoes. They gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And they said, I was really hoping this movie would be more erotic given the reviews, but I found it overall rather dry and frustrating. It's rare that I say a movie should be more erotic, but I think that might have helped you.
Is it rare?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I feel like last episode with Brokeback Mountain, you wanted to see blowjobs in '69.
That was my unhinged review.
I know. I'm just memeing.
I go. Okay. This comes from Letterboxd user Yuna. They gave In the Mood for Love half a star out of 5. I'm fucking tweaking. Watching this shit is fucking self-harm. Fuck this half-assed ending. I actually loved this film until the last 15 minutes. How the fuck do you fuck up an entire movie from a 5-star to a half a star in 15 fucking minutes? I kid you not. The last 15 minutes gave me heartburn. I'm drinking ice water because this fucking shit. I would have rather watched Mr. Beast videos. And I fucking hate Mr. Beast's content.
that one's really good. Like, it's also crazy. The ending isn't bad. It's definitely not that bad. What the fuck?
I get what you mean, though. If something made me want to watch Mr. Beast content, I'd probably rather just jump off a cliff. Mine comes from Letterboxd user Alyssa Prada. They gave In the Mood for Love half star. They're also, I don't know if there's some spelling mistakes or like grammar mistakes, or maybe this is like a second language sort of thing. So let's also
read it as
grace.
Is.
I am.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there are so many good reviews. The movie is terribly boring, and you always want to turn it off. Next, we see utter stupidity. Two ladies walk in very expensive luxury outfits, constantly changing them. Their husbands also in expensive suits, expensive jewelry, expensive hairstyles and makeup. Yacht and behavior like those of secular ladies. And what we see? They live in a dormitory with terribly black and unpaved corridors and facades, like in a slum. What nonsense. And this is in no way outplayed by the situation of life. If it was a rich family in bankruptcy, it would be possible to justify this in the script. They also constantly want to eat noodles or eat them. At the same time, the man slurps.
Hey, yeah, you're right.
Good ratings for the film were probably given by those who really like to eat noodles. For me, this movie is a waste of time.
I read that one.
Mitch,
it was on my short list.
Do you like to eat noodles?
I do like to eat noodles.
Oh, not beating the allegations.
Not beating the allegations for sure. I did think it was funny because I was thinking about that and I was like, I think they just don't know how like crowded Hong Kong is. And like,
yeah,
it's like just because they're well off doesn't, like people live in basically coffins in Hong Kong. Like the fact that they can rent a whole room for themselves does mean they are indeed doing well.
Yeah, it's a highly dense city. It's also super like liberal compared to the rest of China, especially at the time. So like it was a high demand place. Like it was expensive. It was like San Francisco. You're paying like $4,000 for a closet.
Yeah. Well, it was part of Britain at the time.
Yeah.
It's just a complete lack of curiosity for how other people live. Thanks for joining us on our fucking podcast.
Yeah. Hope y'all had a good time.
Next week we'll be discussing my pick and the final pick for the Bittersweet saga, The Graduate.
The Graduate.
You know it. You love it. It's Dustin Hoffman. It's The Graduate.
Yeah.
we don't even really need to talk about it. It's been talked about to death, but you know.
We'll be here next week talking about it nonetheless.
Yes, we will.
Anyway.
Kisses.
Goodbye.
Wong Kar Wai.